even within a yogic exercise, the more force it'll spring back at me. It's just physics. So let us use the strength, use the power, use your will, and then blend it with just being cool with how things are. I'm good like I am. I don't need to change. But what I would like to happen is to have an even deeper experience of what it is that I am, and what it is that all of this is. And then just in that very natural, human way, you know? You're good like you are. And then that's where real contentment comes from. It's like, and once I have a relative contentment, from that space, now we can do some work. Our right hands are like here on your... Solstice is always a very special place for me to come because it's kind of where everything started for me, personally. As I turned 18 here, and I showed up, not to go into the whole story, but I showed up with my teacher at the time that the night before Tantric started, I didn't come to this part. I didn't know anything really about any of this. I didn't know what a Sikh was. I didn't know, and that was good in retrospect. I appreciate that now. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and I certainly didn't know what was going on once I got here. I arrived to the camp like in the middle of the night before Tantric started. I had no head covering. I didn't know I needed a partner. Nothing like that, you know. And so I woke up in this cabin. I just jumped in a cabin. I didn't know you were supposed to pay for a cabin. But it worked out okay. And I woke up at whatever, to the sound of Has anybody woke up to that sound here? Like dudes sticking toothbrush down their throat. And all right. And somehow, like, I liked it. Once I got through it, like the first time it was kind of like, wow, what was that? You know? But here we are 20 years later, so. And I couldn't be more grateful, you know? There's nothing like winter solstice. There's nothing like solstice. There's nothing like Tantric. And it's hard to quantify, you know, what the effect of Tantric, of doing Tantric every year, a couple times a year, has had on my life, or our life. I think it's kind of impossible to quantify that, or to even kind of get a grip, but intuitively, it is a sense that it's a pretty big deal. And I owe a lot to this whole experience. Personally, I feel a debt. You know what I'm saying? We all have debts. We have a debt to our mother and father, regardless how much we like them or don't like them. That's how you came into this incarnation, and so immediately there's a debt to mom, and there's a debt to dad. Whether we think of like they did a good job or didn't do a good job. I heard it recently from Mark Twain. He's talking about his father, and he said, when I was 15 years old, I was astounded, and I don't remember the exact quote, it was something along this lines. When I was 15, I was astounded by his dad of how just ignorant this man was. By the time I became 21, I was impressed in how wise the old man had become in just 6 years. As I start to get a little older, it does feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, how little it is, I know. But how wonderful it is to not know things. And to just be cool. And do our best to be cool. And to be able to be more relaxed, even if things are stressful, because things are going to be stressful. That's the law of life. Things are going real smooth right now. Just wait a little bit. They won't be. It doesn't matter what it is, you know? And sometimes the planets, we're already in the kind of feel of the eclipse that happens on the 26th and then on January the 9th. And that affects all of us, and some of us more than others, depending on whatever constellation was on the eastern horizon when you came out of your mother's womb. Isn't that interesting? Who programmed that? That the tone of your personality, the type of rhythm of the life, the types of challenges that would have, the type of opportunities that would come, all of these types of things, you know, somehow is maybe not determined by, but in a harmony with the exact positioning of constellations and planets at the moment that you came onto the earth. What's up with that? How do we know anything? You didn't pretend to know anything. As a good astrologers, in my sense, and I'm not an astrologer, but in my sense, the most important quality of an astrologer I want, if I'm going to work with an astrologer, is intuitive. Because it's just vast. Life is vast, and life is mysterious. But joy is found inside the mysterious. Love is found in the mysterious. Not knowing, you know, in that sense, but intuitive knowledge. Intuitive knowledge comes from not knowing so much, not being too damn opinionated on things, you know, so I'm not quite sure. Yogi Bhajan always said, never say I don't know, you know. And in that sense, I'm a bit of a bad student. But I just changed it to I'm not just quite sure. But the idea, I think, is really what he's saying, is that the type of knowing is intuitive knowing. That doesn't come from the intellect, but rather, we often think intuition is the third eye, and certainly, yes, it is. But intuition is also, it's a language of the heart. And this third eye allows the heart and the head to maintain connectivity. Is a neutralization of the psyche so that the energy of the heart can flow. So it's not just up here, you know, it's from here. And so, you know, it's possible, you know, to be as happy as you want to be. We just need to be realistic about what that would actually entail. You know what I'm saying? And that not trick ourselves to think that there's some shortcuts that we can take. Or even that it would be desirable to take a shortcut if that existed. But it's really the grind and the process and the pain that makes life beautiful. And that's where love is really found. It's like, what would life be without pain, you know, without sadness? It would be dry. And so, therefore, if we have meditative mind, and we have good practice to where the meditative mind is not like this, you know? That's taking care of the meditative mind. The meditative mind has the infinite variety of expression. It just looks like a human being in any moment, in any expression possible. It's the flow of love, it's the flow of infinity, it's the flow of, what is the flow of infinity? It's the flow of creativity. Yogi Bhajan, all death is the opportunity for creativity is expired. And therefore, that's what life is all about. That's why there's such a profound energy towards sexuality. Is that energy of creativity is always. That's what Prakriti is. Prakriti is that we loosely say, right, the Mother Nature. But what it actually literally means is the one who wishes to become many is Prakriti. That which wishes to become many most of our energy isn't going, most of our creative energy isn't going to creating babies. We may have one or two or something in a lifetime. The flow of creativity will not stop, however. It takes creativity to maintain anxiousness. It takes creativity to maintain depression. But that creativity that is being dominated by the subconscious tendencies, yogis call samskaras. That's why it's a glorious opportunity to spend 3 days, as difficult as it can be at times, doing White Tantric Yoga, to open up the flow of creative energy so that it can then move in the direction of Dharma. To where there's genuine connection to a sense of purpose. It's like, you come out of Tantric, it's like, this is what I'm about, you know? And that may not be even, I may not be able to even define in words what that is, but it's the essence, the sense of what you are, the essence of what this is. And you may not be able to articulate it. That's why we make music, that's why we write poetry, that's why we create art. It's not a thinking trip. So, as you're going through the experience here at winter solstice, and going through the experience of White Tantric Yoga, it's an amazing thing. And while we often think of it as difficult, you know, Tantric, what it just is incredible. And it doesn't, and we know, those of us have been through it, you know, it doesn't matter if really you're able to do the postures that well. It's just, you know, in the early years, and maybe the mind was judgmental in terms of myself and others, in terms of like, well, how well can, you know, etc. Like how perfect, you know, spiritual communities in general, across the board, we tend to be very neurotic. And partly because we're all trying so great to be perfect. And you can't try to be something you already are. And now it's just like we came in summer solstice this year, and we were late for, I don't remember why, but we came up and the exercises had already started. And we were sitting in the back of the tantric shelter there up at Ramdas Puri, looking at everything and everyone. And it was just like almost moved me to tears, and just how tremendous it is to even be here and to even attempt it, you know, and even to be in the mind. How blessed we all are to have this opportunity in a lifetime to where you would have the idea to even come to something like this and give it a try and have that sense of like, there's something else going on here, and there's something that I want to stay connected to. And that's what this is all about. And that's what sadhana is all about, staying connected to what is real. Because otherwise, we lose connectivity to what is real. And when we lose connectivity to what is real, we've lost connectivity to the infinite. Because there's only one thing that's real. And because we don't have the ability to speak what that is, we say infinite, infinity. We'll say God. We'll say whatever it is that we say. But what we say has to be not said, but rather experienced. That's a slow process. And it should be a slow process, because that can't happen like that. And so it's a courtship. Day in and day out. Doing our best not to push away the things that are uncomfortable and not to grip too tightly to the things that are very comfortable. As to whatever extent I grip to what is pleasurable, to whatever that extent, I've already created the conditions to be gripped by what is uncomfortable somewhere later down. Usually pretty quick. So it can't go from like high peaks and low valleys to all of a sudden just right down the middle way. That process has to be a gradual one. Just like patience. Be patient. Cool with how you are right now. You're just good like you are right now. I'm real good just like I am right now. And then forever going deeper. How do I love more? How do I love more? And so at a certain point, it becomes less about my problem, my prosperity, my anxiety, my depression, and that disposition shifts to where it's become, how can I be helpful? How can I be useful? How can I be serviceful? Not with proselytizing, not with trying to get someone else to do what I do. But often just, is it a smile? You know, hey, can I get that for you? Hey, how you doing today? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? No need to convince anyone of anything. There's already a whole lot of that going on. The polarity of the transformation the planet is going under right now is profound. And then, so on the surface, we witness extreme polarization. When the magnetic energy is changing, polarization is going wacky. So these folks are in belief that their way is right, and these folks are in belief of their way is right, and all of it creates misery. You know? If someone's angry at you, in order to be angry at anyone, in order to lash out at anyone and have an intent to cause harm to anyone, that person has to be suffering. You with me? If someone is wishing to cause you harm, that person has to be suffering. So is worthy of compassion and love. And that's why the yogis say, the one who wishes to do you harm, which we could just call an enemy. Enemy's a strong word, isn't it? Enemy. Yogi Bhajan, you don't want enemies? Don't have friends. So the yogis tell us that the enemy's the most valuable asset you've got. Because only under the condition of that adversarial energy can that deeper heart of love and compassion be aroused. How do we do that? How do you maintain caliber to where the mind is held in enough content? The psyche is held in content. The psyche is held in content to whatever the extent of love, compassion that has been aroused. The heart center. That love energy holds the psyche in a relative content. Key word there is relative. Relative content. To where I'm not under such fight or flight conditions that I can now operate with wisdom and with some strategy. And so each in the morning, even if it's just a few minutes, get the prana moving. Make the mind clear. The heart connected. See if I can meditate and remember that one day, and it could be soon or it could be further away, I'm going to have to die. It's hard to remember that, isn't it? We can remember it intellectually, but that doesn't mean we feel it. But to feel it is medicine, like a nectar giving medicine. So it's not so much as like, I need to focus on doing a practice, as much as it is, I need to stay connected to purpose. to mission. And so that realization and remembrance of dying will keep me connected to a sense of purpose, or to help keep me connected. So if I know that the key to my relative content and my sense of happy relies on having sense of purpose, I'll do a practice. So the focus isn't on, I need to do a practice, because that's what a good person does, is does a practice. And if I don't do a practice, we go back into kind of our old, like, all of a sudden, like, sadhana is part of the 10 Commandments. Is like, not do what you want to do. Ultimately, anything you're going to do long-term consistently, it has to be something you genuinely want to do, not something you have to do because that's the right thing to do, but you have to want to do it. I want to meditate. I don't always get to meditate as much as I want to meditate. But I also have enough wisdom to know I need to maintain a connectivity to my genuine wants, as opposed to the wants that will creep in that don't have anything to do with my purpose here. And that's what sadhana is about. Stay connected, stay clear. This direction. It's not a head trip about what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What I'm going to do is just be me today. Follow my intuitive sense. Keep on going deeper with love. Keep on being able to have a deeper heart of compassion. That takes daily work. It's not something that just, but to arouse the deeper heart of compassion, where the empathy and the love extends beyond your circle of resonance. Folks that think like you, folks that look like you, folks that dress like you, folks that vote like you, folks that, etc. But it doesn't have the boundaries. That takes training, like it's a muscle that has to be developed on a regular basis, so that the tendency that's developed over thousands and thousands of years is both species, is in the DNA, as well as incarnation and incarnation, incarnation and incarnation, is to be me-oriented. But if the psyche remains predominantly me-oriented, it's going to plateau. And so for a few years perhaps, or maybe even longer, you can remain juicy with me-orientation. Eventually in the yogic pathway, if the me-orientation remains, the thing plateaus. We're here for the benefit of beings. What's the bigger mission? That will come out of the intuitive psyche. It comes out of the heart. Just on a everyday, little by little courtship. If I don't know, if I have the pain of I don't have connection, I don't know I don't feel the purpose, that pain is your asset. Go into that. You with me? Inside of pain, you can always get love. But if I'm pushing away the pain because I feel like it shouldn't be there, then I'm pushing away one of the most valuable things I have. When you're in pain, your prayer is very powerful. Remember that in Tantric. Truly, because there'll be moments, even in the easiest of meditations, it can be totally painful, right? If it's not physically, it's mentally. If it's not mentally, it's emotionally. And occasionally you wind up in a total bliss field and you're like, oh God. And then you feel like, oh, all right, let me like not mess this up. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. So we're gonna go through this next, it'll take about 30 minutes. And we're gonna journey together. And we're going to go into this, you'll see, just a meditative field. And here's what I would request, or encourage, I say, is that whatever else is happening, let it happen elsewhere. And that actually, and I think about this a lot with sadhana, because sometimes we feel like, oh, I don't have time for this. But actually, if you can move your life force, you can move your life. So it's often the case that I can impact the circumstances of my life more effectively in a meditation practice than I can when I'm actually doing work out in the world. And so, on the precipice of a new decade, a new year, very powerful energy, a very critical year on the planet Earth. Let us not get caught up on the superficial polarization of things and tune into something more substantive that is happening. So that no matter what is happening, no matter how turbulent life may seem, we all still have the capacity to be cool and to enjoy our lives. That's the beauty of joy. It doesn't require pleasure, it doesn't require comfort. Joy can exist within pain as well as pleasure. So that's where bliss is. It doesn't go up, it doesn't come down. So this next half hour is to just use these kriyas to enter into a space of blissfulness, and everything in your life benefits from you inhabiting a space of blissfulness. From that space, you can, that is prosperity. You see what I mean? It's not doing some magic trick and then all of a sudden money starts to come into your life. It's inhabiting the field of prosperity, field of bliss. Okay, so like this is your first exercise. Thumbs to the mound of the Mercury finger. And pinky and ring hold down the thumb. And index middle finger, that's Jupiter, Saturn. Like that. Tip of the nose is your gaze. Chest is lifted up, chin is slightly in, shoulder blades release. Eyes on the tip of the nose. That's as much of the posture as the fingers. Tip of the nose is the gaze. It's only a 3-minute exercise. So what you're gonna go is like this. On the exhale, it's like, and it's so powerful your nose wrinkles, like that. And then on the inhale, your mouth in the O shape and goes. The two teachers, Jupiter and Saturn, the two gurus. Pinky and ring is held down with the thumb. Mercury and the sun held down with the thumb. Now, you're gonna be small. Keep your arms, upper arms close to your torso. Keep your root lock in. You're gonna be like outward quick circles, O-shaped mouth. And it's gonna be the diaphragmatic breath that makes it sound like a monkey, like. Mudra. Arms are out to the side, like that. So you'll need to stagger if you're right next to somebody. And you're gonna, so if my palms are facing forward, let me turn my palms up toward the top of the tent and then try to turn my palms facing behind me. So it's taking your inner elbow and twisting it up. So it's like that. Chest rib cage comes out, shoulder blades are dropped, root lock is in, tip of the nose is your gaze, and begin long, deep, meditative breath. And thoughts, 0. My problem, 0. My desire, 0. This, 0. That, 0. And you're going to allow the sound current of the mantra to just penetrate into the whole cellular energy of the body and the matrix of the psyche and the subconscious. It'll take the thoughts out of the way. A thought comes, your mantra goes, 0. Wish it was like this, 0. happy with this, 0. And everything that comes, where does it go? 0. You're gonna take this mudra, Mahangyana mudra, thumb holds down, pinky ring. Jupiter and Saturn are, Jupiter, Saturn are up. Elbows at the height of the shoulders, but your root lock, your core is in, your heart is wide open. Your eyes close down, and the gaze goes up to the crown of your head. Eyes 9/10 closed, gaze goes up to the crown of the head. Your attention goes, your prana flows. How do you bring the prana to the crown of your head? Put your attention on the crown of the head. You hold this, you begin breathing long, meditative, and deep. Like a perfect yogi, you're committed into the posture without needing to budge. Do you feel the need to budge? 0. You feel the need to, how long left? 0. What are we doing here? 0. When will it end? 0. Just 0 everything. Allow the mantra to envelop and permeate your entire being. And we're going. Be like an antenna. Be an emptied vessel.